this is Corinth Landwalker, and today we're going to be doing my first stream of 2021, and it is going to be, since it's Saturday, Star Citizen. Now, I am currently on approach to my favorite space station, even though it has its little quirks, Port Olisar, where we will be continuing the Aurora MR Challenge. Now, for those coming in late, the Aurora MR Challenge is my little way of saying, hey, you can play this game with the minimum package with no problem. And you can even purchase a better ship as you do so. That's the theory. However, last week we hit a little bit of a setback. So once we land, we'll take stock of everything. I'm currently flying my Mercury Star Runner because it gets me here faster. Yes, it's going to complain about me impounding a vehicle. Man, what am I thinking? So we are going to bring up if I can get the right icons up. There we go. Sometimes I have to remember what I'm doing. Am I where I want to be? I'm where I want to be. As you can see in the upper left-hand side, we have my starting funds for today. On the upper right-hand side, you will see the profits made so far. Now, those of you who were watching last week's mining fiasco will recall that I had gotten a decent amount of Hadanite on my Grey Cat Rock mining vehicle. But, unfortunately, what I was not able to do was sell the Hadanite. Now, I've thought about basically kind of holding that money in trust and eventually selling it when things actually worked out. But I've chosen to let that actually be reflected as a loss. I didn't lose any money from the Hadanite because, well, I hadn't sold the Hadanite. It was only potential money. What I did lose, however, was the costs of renting the rock and that Drake Cutlass for the day. So I dropped down from 50,000 profit down to 10,000 profit. And, well, that's not exactly what you would call good news. But setbacks happen. Setbacks happen no matter how good you are. And as far as setbacks go, this really isn't a whole lot. When you get right down to it, well, there are bigger amounts of money to lose. There are people who go trading in Caterpillar cargo ships with $1.5 million, that much credits tied up in their cargo. And then a 30K strikes, a server crash strikes, and before you know it, 1.5 million is gone. So, do they whine about it? Do they complain? Okay, yeah, sometimes they do whine and complain about it. But then they pick themselves back up and they go on with the show. Now, as usual, I will hit my Moby glass so you can see easily that my starting funds in the upper left match my current balance. As usual for the challenge, I will take that amount and subtract it from whatever I end up with, and the difference will be applied to the profits made so far. The goal here is to start from an Aurora and go to a bigger ship, which is currently being targeted as the Drake Cutlass Black, which I ironically rented last week. Now, as you can see, we might have a ways to go. It's about creeping up on the 2 million credit mark to afford the Cutlass Black. And I've got 10,000 UEC. Now, in our previous outings, I have managed to equip myself with a decent set of armor, undersuit, weapons, all of which are currently applied. More importantly, especially on a day like today, I've been able to equip the Aurora beyond just its basic weaponry. Okay, the basic weaponry seems to have gone away somewhere along the line. Okay, well, I did spend the money to purchase them, so I have no qualms about re-equipping this stuff. I have no idea how that managed to go away. You can see that they're all available. I'm not sure what happened there. But this is an alpha game. This is still in development. And weird things happen. And since we're on the subject of the Moby-Glass, we're going to head to the plan for today. When 3.12 landed just before Christmas time, it changed the way you do bounty hunting. And it kind of also changed the diametric opposite, where you can do things for crime. But we're going to focus on bounty hunting because I'm trying to be a good guy during this challenge. And spending the time in prison doesn't really advance the goal of achieving the funds necessary. Now, once upon a time, bounty hunting was pretty straightforward. You do an introductory mission, and then you go after bounties, starting at crime stat 1 guys, moving on the way up to crime stat 4s. And I'm told there were crime stat 5 ones, but I never actually saw them. And you would have to do this a few times. You'd have to do an introductory mission in Hurston, an introductory mission at Crusader. That would allow you to hunt in those planetary regions. And you had to do one for North Rock, which is kind of an overarching bounty hunting company. And that was the one that could potentially allow you to hunt down players. Things are different now. Now, we have the introductory missions are still there, but if you do them, you have to pay for the license to hunt them. Don't feel too concerned about this. The money you gain from the actual bounty hunts will more than balance out the fees. It's just annoying, that's all. And they'll look something like this. I'll talk about a certification. Now, this one is one I haven't done yet because this one involves hunting down players. And unlike the original North Rock kind of thing, who used to handle that, now it's being handled by the Bounty Hunter Guild. They will put you up against a player right away. And it doesn't seem to care how dangerous said player may be. There will be an equivalent one for Hurston Security and for Crusader Industries. Once you pay the first fee and succeed in it, you will be able to hunt down what they consider VLRTs. Very low-risk threats. And I'm going to take an accept on that because we're going to be kind of moving our way up here. And I'm going to grab the medium risk. And we're going to grab... Well, we're going to hold off on that one right now. And there's 5 categories. You've got your very low-risk threats, which are the equivalent of the CS1 bounties. The low-risk threats, CS2. Medium-risk threats, CS3. High-risk threats, CS4. And, theoretically, the very high-risk threats, CS5. As always, it is a good idea when you're planning to do something involving this level of violence to go to Mercenary and pick up a call to arms so that anyone you kill after your bounties effectively becomes free money. Everybody likes free money. Of course, you have to blow up the enemy ships to get that money, but, you know, it's effectively free money. If you're going to kill them anyway, why not get paid? Now, the reason I've come to the Crusader system to do this is because of a bug. A bug that kind of impacts how bounty hunting is being done. And I kind of hit the bug in a weird way, where if I'm at Hurston, all I get are group bounties. Group bounties do pay better, but they take more time. At Crusader, however, I don't get the group bounties, I just get the single bounties. And it's important that I distinguish what group bounty means in this case. Group bounty does not mean a bunch of ships at a single location. That can happen with high risk for any of these bounties, honestly, as a single. What I was talking about is group locations. Locations are multiple spots. You might find that your bounties are spread out around Hurston, if it's a group bounty, to Lathan, no, not Lathan, to the various moons, like Ariel and Magda. And they might even have a couple stacked on top of each other, so you might find two of your bounties in the same spot. Which doesn't sound too frightening unless you're dealing with something that'll pop up additional hostiles, at which point suddenly those two targets become 8, 9 targets. It can get rough. Hey, Legend, how are you doing today? We are getting ready to continue the Aurora MR challenge, and we are going to be monkeying around with bounty hunting. And we're going to get back that 50,000 credits that was effectively lost. Okay, technically it was 40,000 or so. That was lost last week during the mining fiasco. Now, if I had a little more money, I would be tempted to rent a combat vessel like an Arrow, which would be a lot better to do the higher end bounties. Now, I'll explain why as we go along. But since we are doing the challenge, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, with the Aurora. So, the Aurora is sitting over at CO2. The carbon dioxide pad. No, the Had Knight was not able to sell that day, and I decided that while I'm going to keep the Had Knight for the eventual time when I might be able to sell it somewhere, I am not going to include it in the challenge because setbacks happen. And this is going to be in part demonstrating how you can come back from said setbacks. The profit would have been pretty nice. It would have probably netted us to a profit made so far of 100k, which would have been a nice start. Not great, but nice. Now, we will do it the non-peaceful way. We're going to take it out on the problem childs. Okay, let's make sure that I'm tracking the very low risk first, because we're going to start easy and work our way up. Then we're going to look for that neutralize the bounty. It looks like they're both going to be hanging around Yella, which doesn't surprise me because Yella is the location of the space station Grim Hex, and Grim Hex is a hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride.
At least in the standard system. While everything starts powering up, like, shields, I'm going to link up my guns so I don't have to worry about one mouse trigger. Still have 2 missiles, which I will probably wind up not using. All my guns are size 1 guns. They're all on gimbaled mounts. So shooting the targets that are fast and maneuverable might be a problem. And it's always encouraging when I see stuff in the game chat about the server potentially dying, because that could put a crimp in things. Of course, they could also be saying that to get people to jump off the server so they can get their friends in, which has been known to happen. When you see something, I'll give you a free hint, everybody. If someone says something really, really neat is suddenly appearing on the public test universe, check before you log off. They're probably lying. Okay, our shields are full, they're functional. We're going to fly off in our big box ship. And we're going to take care of our very low risk bounty. And we're going to get 4,000 of those lost credits back just like that.
Thank you. And please visit again.
Unless, of course, a bug happens and I suddenly find myself floating in space for no apparent reason. Okay, well. Slice throat. We might be needing that 4,000 sooner than expected. That's what I get for trying to quantum jump a little too quickly, perhaps. I've been told that there's a bug involving Port Olisar and trying to jump out of it, and I may have fallen afoul of that bug. But that may actually work to my advantage, though, because that might mean that instead of having to claim the Aurora again and wait for it to become available, it might have actually been stored and allow me to get back. Yes, Legend, that was indeed from Port Olisar. And it looks like my ship is back at Port Olisar, so let's retrieve it again and give it a second shot. Yeah, Legend figured that one out without even knowing it right away. What was that noise? That sounded ominous. It's possible that my ship has done something weird. That's okay. I like weird. They make things entertaining to watch during playbacks of the video. But I have a sneaking feeling I'm going to come up here, I'm going to see that my ship isn't there. Nope. It has done something weird. It's always nice to have it weird happen at the beginning of the stream rather than at the end. So let's go back in here and see if the ship is even there. I'm betting it's going to say claim now. No, it's still saying Port Olisar. But it's an unknown state, which is a bad sign. Because if it's an unknown state, it may require... No, it says AO7. It's still there. Let's hope it stays there. Upsy-daisy. Back into the ship. Still has all of his guns armed. Yes, there we go. Had to double check that. It's not that I don't trust it, it's just that I don't trust it. There we go. Lag, lag, lag. Let's see, it also said I was going to be... One quick second while I take care of a minor technical detail. Okay, back to the show. Power everything on.
Welcome to FotR's Space Industries.
Let's get crazy and ask them for permission to leave. Maybe that'll help.
You are clear to launch.
I am clear to launch. That's good.
Complete.
Pull up the landing gear.
Landing gear raised.
Pull away. We'll wait until they tell me I can go away.
Thank you, Elite. And please visit stay.
Good enough. Let's see if I can make the jump to Yella intact.
Quantum drive is now.
Quantum begins. And I'm still in my ship. So the great bounty hunt begins.
Quantum drive is now off.
Let's see. Weapons. Gotta reset those. Set the old gimbals to, well, gimbal. Now, another thing that changed in 3.12 is that your opponent is not there when you arrive. Thus, your bounty hunt is really a bounty wait. Someday, there will be more to this than meets the eye. But that day is not today. Now, at some indeterminate period, probably around a couple minutes, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, the target will show up. And then we'll blow them up, and that'll be a nice, easy 4,000 credits. Easily 10% of the money that was lost during the Great Rock Massacre. I really need to come up with a catchier name. I mean, just saying can't sell the Hadnite doesn't sound nearly as catchy. I admit that it is probably not one of the priorities of the current situation. At some point I will sell that Hadnite, but it's not going to count for the challenge because, well, the rock was theoretically rented, even though it wasn't actually rented, and therefore the cargo would have gone away at the end of the day. Somewhere out here is an unsuspecting enemy starship, somebody who's done bad things. Hadnite embargo. Yes, Legend, that might be the way to go. The Hadnite embargo, where nobody wants to buy the freaking Hadnite. Last patch it was selling for 200k per full load. Now you can't even take it out of your rock. Well, I guess I could technically take it out and put it in the cargo grid or something. That little image there tells me that the bad guy has spawned in, although not necessarily in sensor range. So let's get around this asteroid so that I can get a better idea of where he went to hide. Ooh, G-forces. Let's be a little more careful. Oh, and they've got me on radar lock, and I don't have them on radar lock, which means they have better range than I do. But I know where you are now, and I'm coming for you. Now, this guy is flying, ironically enough, an Aurora LN. Now, the Aurora LN is similar to the MR, except for one detail. I think it's better armed. But it is not going to be better flown. For starters, I've got full weapons. And I seem to have giving him a bad turn.
Enemy down.
Oh, thank heavens. For a minute there, I thought he hit the rock. If he smacks into the asteroid, you don't get paid, and I'm pretty sure technically it fails your mission. And now you'll notice that instead of getting 4,000, I got 4,400. Another little aspect of the way the game goes is if you do enough bounties and you take down enough bad guys, you start getting promoted in their chain of command, for lack of a better phrase. Although my journal's not coming up and neither is anything else, which is a bad sign. Oh no, I can still do this stuff. I have a sneaking feeling a 30k is incoming. That figures. And here we go, boys and girls. $30K. Well, you know, that's one of the hazards. You run into little details like crashed servers. But the good news is I should still wind up in Olisar. So that'll be easy enough to deal with. So we will load ourselves back in. I love making use of that crashed screenshot. Had one about 10 minutes yesterday morning. That's why he didn't play much yesterday. I can get that. I didn't play much yesterday in Star Citizen either because, well, I was tired. You know, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, that sort of thing. I admire the folks who can do those big, long streams that take multiple hours. Okay, well, this does give us an opportunity. Oops, that turned on my flashlight. Don't do that. Okay. We're going to head back to the ASOP terminals. I'm going to jump through the windows here because I can. One of these days, they're going to put glass in those windows, and it's going to be embarrassing. Now, when 30K happens, your ship is basically wherever you left it, except you can't actually go back to the ship, because the server don't know where it is. So you've got to claim it. Now, the good news is the Aurora MR is qualified as a starter ship, which means it is fairly affordable to file a claim and expedite it. Right now, I'll lose 2 minutes and 15 seconds. But if I'm willing to pay 300 some UEC, I'll get it back right now. And I'm going to hold off, and instead, I'm going to let the timer kick down a little longer while I look over the possible bounties. I did still get paid, so, you know, there's that much right in the world. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem there's any bounties on this particular server right now. I find that mildly insulting. Okay, I got the suspect apprehension certification, but there is no way I'm going to try to hunt down a player flying an Aurora. That's just asking for trouble. Now, here's something interesting. Trespassers at Caria for 21,000. Now, that sounds like something that I could do well with. Of course, it's also something that can go horribly, horribly wrong. Now we'll pay the expedited fee now that I've done my mineral stuff here. Security Station Caria has an eminence to it, you could say. Not only is it a location where pirates will go to and take over, which is the reason why I can do this mission, but it is also a place where criminals can clear their criminal status. However, everybody knows it. So bounty hunters will often kind of hover around the station and go after people showing up to clear their criminal status for free money. Or maybe not so free money. Legend says that he has spent a lot of time there. Yeah, Legend is known to occasionally make escapes out of prison and need to clear that crime stat. Or maybe just clear the crime stat in general. Power on. I'm going to set the guns, even though I don't really expect to need them right away, because, well, things happen. I will contact landing services for permission to leave.
You are clear to launch.
I'm going to set my destination to the security outpost. We're going to take off. Aim myself towards the target location. We'll pause. What do you say, Bolasar? What do you say? What do you say? I can't hear you.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Thank you. Off to the moon of Selen. Now, there is every possibility, indeed, every probability, that I'll be shot dead before I finish the mission. These things happen. But if I can clear all the targets out, it's 21,000. That is that is worth the risk. Now that said, it's also possible that there will be players here. That can lead to all sorts of little problems, like friendly fire. They could kill me off. I could kill them off. The killer will find themselves afflicted with a pretty nasty crime stat. So, risks happen. Now, as you will recall from my earlier work, I think it was week 2 of the challenge, I took advantage... What am I seeing there? Are those ships? Let's kill my forward momentum here, because there are turrets here. I don't think I've ever seen turrets at this location. This is new. Or at least it's new to me. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to land on one of the landing pads out here. I've never seen active turrets here. Well, I guess they're not really active, but this is new.
Landing automated.
As I was saying before I got sidetracked by all the
Landing complete.
things showing up there,
Engines are off.
we did take the time to purchase armor and weaponry, and now we're going to get a chance to use it. Now, it will probably be of no surprise to hear that bugs happen on first-person shooter stuff as well. For example, I've equipped a rifle, I'm going to swap it to a sniper rifle, and it drops my sniper rifle. And it picks up my sniper rifle. Yeah, so that's the thing. Actually, usually it drops to the ground and I have to pick it back up again, but at this time it seems to have been polite. I am going to activate the laser sight on here because it may be important. I'm a little bothered by the fact that it looks almost crooked, but I'm going to take it on faith that it's not. Alright, here we go. I want to stay low to start. Just in case, evil people are here. It has happened. Last time I was here, there was one literally right here. So there is an obscenely high chance that I will die a horrible death in here. But there's also a chance, even if it's a little chance, that I can earn 21,000 credits. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's a bad sign. I'm hearing voices already. The targets are not necessarily stationary either, so... Oh, the tension. You cut the tension with a knife. Oh, there's a guy over there. I was hoping not to use 2 shots, but this is not my favorite sniper rifle. I'm using the AO3, and the P6 LR is the one I prefer to use, which is a much heavier caliber. It's also more expensive to use. So, 1 guy down, 6 to go. The longer I can go without being detected, the better chances I... Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Is there a guy behind this door? Once I'm detected, it's going to be panic time. There'll be submachine guns all the way. Two kills. Now, what would be really nice is if I could get a decent set of shots to the main area, snipe them from above, but there's a few too many people left over. I'd kind of prefer not to worry about that yet. Nuts, I can't get that guy, can I? Is he stuck in a wall? Okay, so he's stuck in a wall. Hopefully he'll get himself out of it before this is all over. There's a lot of open space up there. Okay, that worked out a little bit better than it should have, because usually I can't get a good kill with glass there. Oh, stupid glass windows. I'm usually lucky to get a kill with a sniper rifle at close quarters. Okay, time for the med pen. Two remaining. Oops. He's shooting at me through a wall. And just like that, 21,000 credits in the bank. And just like that, half of my losses are restored. Where's LZO3? Yeah, I probably should have re-equipped my med pen before I started, going around, but eh. It all worked out for the best. Oh, it's up here. Duh. And now we can go back and see if there's any bounty missions sitting out there. And I'm going to go ahead and take the time to do exactly as legend suggests and slap a new med pen on for future reference. Am I hearing gunfire? Oh, there's someone there who's a pirate.
Engines are on.
Oh, you know what? I don't particularly care about him, especially since killing him really doesn't get me all that much in the way of cash. So I'm just going to do the smart thing and jump away from here. Just in case he decides to blow me up just out of spite. Hey, the guy's already a criminal. You can't figure what he's going to be doing.
FotR's is now on.
I have never seen turrets on that security outpost. I'm just flabbergasted. Alright. Guns are set. Let's take a look at the Mobi-Glass. Check out the contracts, and ooh, look at all those bounties that have come up. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of bounties. We were going to go for a medium risk target here, so we're going to do that next. The last target was basically an Aurora MR. And, well, okay, it was an Aurora LN, technically. But ultimately, it was still an Aurora. Still not exactly what you would call the most dangerous opponent on Earth. At least not in the hands of the non-players. Legend has seen turrets on Caria occasionally. I'm guessing that they're usually gone because somebody blows them up, and then everybody's going to Caria to do their crime stat stuff and never knows the fact they're all gone. They must have a low respawn rate. That's just a guess, of course, because I've never seen them there, but I guess they've been there before. So make a note. Going to Caria is not necessarily the non-homicidal way of dealing with things. Because I bet you get criminal status for blowing up their turrets. I don't actually know that, though, because I've obviously not done it. Now, the Caria mission that I worked on does not come up really, really often, but it comes up often enough that I have seen it pretty frequently when I'm playing around in Crusader space. And if you're good at first-person shooters, that's not a bad way to start accumulating your money. I mean, come on. 21,000 for 7 kills. That's 3,000 to kill. Now, granted, it's not as much as the bounties out here, but on the other hand, the targets are all clustered together. Now, like I said, I'm flying a box. But despite flying a box, or brick, or what have you, it is not a bad ship to fly. But you can do better. And that is, after all, the goal of the challenge. To be able to afford better. Now, at this point, I could justify heading over to Lorville or something and renting an Arrow. And maybe that'll happen next time. But first, we're going to have a little more fun here at Crusader. And then after we determine just how rough the bounties are at the high end here, the plan is to go to Hurston and demonstrate the group bounties, which are higher paying, but they do have a countdown timer. Oh, that reminds me, did I grab Call to Arms when I was thinking of it here? I did not. Let's take care of that first. It would be embarrassing to take this guy out and have reinforcements show up and suddenly discover that I'm not getting paid for them. As with the previous bounty, and every other bounty, your target will not immediately be here. He has to show up here, around these asteroids, with no conceivable reason to be here. I like to think that what's happening is that they're getting contract out on me. Hey, it's as good as explanation as any. But he does not apparently want to show up. Oh, how about that? I did not expect that to happen. All right, set the gimbals up. Okay, that did not work the way I was thinking it would. So what the heck was over there? Ours is not the reason why. Ours is but to make him die. I am well aware that's not how the poem goes. We are flying against an Aegis Saber, a starship I like to fly because they're stealthy and they have a decent amount of firepower for their weight. Unfortunately, I'm a little surprised. I was really thinking I was going to crash into that rock. You think that was an Aurora asteroid? It might have been an Aurora asteroid. So 8250 profit on that guy. Yeah, that's right. Before we got 30k before I was going to explain that. When you do bounties and you get these authorizations, they will occasionally promote you to higher status. So, for example, North Rock will pay me 10% extra over and above the bounty. And right now, so will the good folks at Crusader Security. Now, Hurston, I'm not really having much happening here. I think that's because of the bug. I don't really lose sleep over it, though, because this allows me to do what I want to do. And what I want to do, now that we've done the medium threats, we're going to go against a high threat bounty. And I've got two here. I've got this one here. That's a group warrant. We're not going to do the group warrant yet. We're going to do that when we get back to Hurston. We're going to grab this single... Oh, I may have a hostile here. A freelancer miss. Let's get some of that call to arms money here. A freelancer MIS is potentially dangerous because they have a lot of missiles. And for that reason, I'm going to up my... I was going to up my decoy count. My decoys aren't increment... Oh, there we are. Pesky lag. They have a lot of missiles. And missiles, if I get hit by a single missile, I'm dead. I'm flying an Aurora. It's not exactly what you would call equipped to handle this kind of abuse. Oh, he's got me in sights. I'm going to hit my noise decoy, and hopefully that'll help confuse his targeting enough that he won't be able to blow me up immediately with his missiles. And I'm going to try to kill him before he kills me. Oh, and he has a friend. Well, that's fine. I don't really care about his... Okay, I do care about his friend. But I care more about the guy with the missiles who can kill me. I have a feeling the other ship's a Hurricane based on the scatter weapons he's using. We'll find that out momentarily, though. These guys will usually pop up after a kill on medium or higher, possibly on low risk too. And it gets really tricky if you happen to be in a situation where, well, not to put too fine a point on it, your primary target is still alive. Because then you've got to try to kill him and dodging multiple hostiles at once. Speaking of multiples, I'm still waiting for this guy to hurry up and die. And that kind of illustrates kind of nicely the difficulty of the higher risk targets we're going to be dealing with. They will have better shields, better hull, more problems. And I'm using size 1 weapons. And what that means is horrible things are likely to happen. In the meantime, this guy is still breathing, despite my best attempts to blow him up. And I'm putting a lot of work into him for what's going to likely be very little payout. Oh, for heaven's sake. How many more times can I hit this guy? As you can see, this is not recommended if you're looking to make lots of credits in a short period of time. At least not in the Aurora. Not only that, but I am taking damage. Or at least my shields are taking hits. Okay, what are my other targets? Buccaneer, Saber. Okay, those guys I can actually take out fairly easily, I think. Now that I've said that, just watch. Whoa. Here we go. Oh, I have to admit, he's holding together better than I was expecting him to.
Shields damaged.
Oh, I'm taking some hits. Yeah, scatter guns are a little bit of a problem these days because they're kind of bugged and doing more damage than they ought to be.
Enemy down.
Oh, I still have another target. I seem to have missed one. Language. And down. So, if you're looking for a high profit and time to kill, that probably isn't going to work out as well as one might like. We're going to take a quick diversion to Olisar and take care of little details like fuel and rearming ammo and potentially repairing the damage. If you're looking to make money quickly, you're probably better off ignoring the ads, unless you have a ship that can take them down fast. If you can take down the hostile quickly, then it's worth doing. But that's going to depend a lot on the targets out there. The Freelancer Miss is a medium-sized ship. And by definition, that means it has medium-sized components. The Aurora, on the other hand, is a small ship, a light ship, with size 1 components. The result? Well, we saw the result. It takes time. And if you're looking to make a lot of money fast, you do not want to mess with time.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Okay, I did not want to see that. Tell me that again. Not available. Port Olisar is not available to restock my ship. Alright, you rat. If they don't want to play it that way, fine. Hold us right to the ground. Do I have one that's still accepted? Or was that, okay, great. So that was our medium. Now we're going to go for a high risk. And you can see these guys will pay out $11,250. Let's figure out where he is. He's over here at Sullen.
You are clear to launch.
I'm a little offended, you Olisar. You really should have given me something to restock, refuel. But no! Well, you know, bugs happen. Maybe I'll end up on a friendlier landing pad next time.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Alright. So we've done very low risk. We've done medium risk. We skipped right over straight low risk, but you know, whatever. So now we're going to go against a better class of target. The problem with the better class of target is they tend to be better armed or better protected. Now, I am bothered a great deal by the fact that I'm not seeing a whole bunch of asteroids out here. Usually, when you're spawning into a location like this, there are a lot of asteroids. And there could be two reasons for this. One, you may have lucked out and run into an area that doesn't have a lot of asteroids. That's not often. Two is more likely. Oh, Oh. Or it could be because your target is at Karia, or nearby it. Isn't that interesting? I was trying to figure out why I didn't see Karia on the orbit. That's because my target marker was on top of it. And that is going to make this very interesting. Especially if there's still traffic around here. There is still traffic around here. There's a zillion turrets. But as I am a friendly, I do not expect them to be shooting at me. Certainly they didn't shoot me when I left here earlier. Because I am a friendly, compassionate. I'm one of the good guys. I'm only shooting down bad people. Well, I'm assuming they're bad people. They can't be that great people if they've got criminal status on it, right? Surely nobody would consider it a crime if they hadn't done anything wrong. Yeah, you might have guessed that I'm lampshading this just a little bit. Yes, you can get criminal status if you're even trespassing, or if you, say, have a ship blown up at an inconvenient spot. They're hard on crime. So we're going to sit here until the hostile makes himself known. And hopefully I will not confuse someone flying in red with being my actual target if he turns out to be a player. I'll feel really bad about that because, well, I won't get paid. Okay, legitimate target. I like the sound of that. And he is flying a Anvil Valkyrie. Now, in case you're wondering if this is going to be a fair fight or not, I'm going to tell you in advance. Oh, no, it's not. I am likely to get my butt kicked in horribly here. Oh, those front shields are going. Is he being shot at by somebody? The turrets at Kari are shooting him. Well, that's something that kind of works in my favor a little bit. Maybe this won't be a complete lost cause after all. Ooh. Yeah, it's a little embarrassing when you start bouncing off enemy ships. The good news, though, is he's so occupied with dealing with those turrets that he is not currently occupied. Oh, yes, actually, he is occupied with shooting me, too. Valkyries have multiple turrets, and they're more than happy to shoot at you with one of them. Often, they will be happy to shoot at you with all of them. But you'll see that he is just sitting there taking my shots, probably laughing his hind end off because, hey, this guy's flying an Aurora. What's he going to do to us? Big, bad Valkyrie dropship with zillions of guns. That said, he's not exactly fighting back, is he? I just hope I get the kill, not the turrets. The Karia turrets, I mean. For giggles, we'll scan him. He's taken about 15% damage so far, and I'm willing to bet most of them have been from that turret. There's an excellent chance that I will run out of ammo before he runs out of shields and hull. Oh, good. And now we have the ads coming in. Remember what I was saying about the possibility of ads if you don't kill off the opponent fast enough? It just happened. And this is where things start going gloriously wrong. Now, if you have a ship that can deal out a lot of damage, this kind of mission is pretty good to get 10,000 at a time. That is not a bad way to go, really. But I did want to demonstrate exactly what happens. Oh, he's gone. He's down. The bounty is down. Thank you, Karya. I'm getting out of here now. Oh, my quantum system is jammed. I better accelerate myself out of here as fast as I can.
Missions critical.
Last thing I need is to have these guys... Okay, awesome. I've gotten out of their jamming range. Let's see if I can jump before I get back in it. Hope I packed extra bullets. No, probably not. Let's take a look at the ammo count, shall we? Oh, I still have plenty of ammo. Now, admittedly, I go through it awfully fast, but still. So, we have kind of gotten lucky on that mission. I had no right to come out of that mission intact, but I refuse to argue with good fortune. So we are going to make one more attempt to refuel at Olisar, and we're going to head over to Hurston, and we're going to demonstrate the group bounties.
Bottom drive is now on.
Amazingly, my ship doesn't really look damaged. I find it kind of frustrating that I can do a scan on the enemy ship and see what percentage health they've got left, but I can't do it with my ship. I can't see how damaged my ship is. It's annoying. Okay, Olisar.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
We're going to give you one more chance to refuel and rearm. After that, well, things get interesting. Drop the landing gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
Slow the approach a bit. Turn off the cruise control because it would be embarrassing to go so far, so fast and splatter.
Landing automated.
Automated the landing.
Landing complete.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Now let's see if they're willing to work. They are not. Okay, well, looks like getting to Hurston's going to be very interesting. The good news is I've got fuel. Quantum fuel is great. The Aurora has a pretty good fuel tank. Cherish it. I can't set course to Everest exactly, so I'll have to go to Hurston and then work my way around waypoints there.
Complete.
I'm not going to ask permission to leave. What are they going to do? Drag me back? Maybe they'll refuel it then. Still, I will wait for them to say.
And please visit again.
Yeah, we'll talk about visiting again once you get your landing services cooperating. Sometimes that's a problem too. You try to do the quantum jump and it doesn't want to work. Break alignment, realign. And then it will usually work.
Bottom drive is now on. Landing gear raised.
Now, we'll just take a quick look here. We're at 3,575,000. That means that we have easily made up the losses from last week, and we are back to where we were as far as the profit goes. In fact, we've got a little bit more. But it's the group bounties that are going to be very, very interesting. Because they will pay more. Or so it would appear. You're being paid more because the simple fact is there are multiple targets. You have to take out multiple targets. 3 of them usually. So divide the number they're paying you by 3. That's how much each target is actually worth. However, depending on where they're located, it could work in your favor because, again, time to kill is important. If they have to be grouped close together or literally on top of each other, you'll find yourself in a pretty good place. You can make 14,000 off of a medium threat in no time at all. I'm kind of guessing. I can't recall exactly what the numbers are. But we will find that out in approximately, 4 minutes. The downside of quantum travel in the Aurora is it takes time. It's a 5-minute journey from Crusader to Hurston. Or more accurately, from Port Olisar to Hurston. The number down here is basically travel time in seconds. But we are just almost halfway there. And in fact, we can even see our progress on our map. And we have not yet quite crossed the Star of Stanton yet. Let's see, can I get a good look at my friend Mr. Sun? There we are. Mr. Sun. He is currently above me, but soon he will be behind me. Once we're at Hurston, our next priority is landing at Everest Harbor, who hopefully will be nicer about refuel, restock, repair. I usually don't get this kind of grief from Olisar. I'm very disappointed. I expect better from Port Olisar. Then again, perhaps Olisar recognizes that it's living on borrowed time. When the landing area of Crusader is put in, the cloud city of Orison, Olisar is rumored to be adios. I kind of hope that's not the case, though, because I do think it's a good design of a space station. It just requires some way to get between struts other than extra vehicular activity. $6 million down to left to go to Hurston, and dropping fast. 5 million kilometers, and the deceleration is kicking in. And then perhaps we'll be able to head to Everest and start the next phase of today's entertainment. Grouping bounties. Now, Hurston does have an additional benefit for folks who are doing the bounty hunting. If you do enough bounty hunting here, you will be contacted by Miles Eckhart. And he will offer you some missions if you go meet him at the M&V bar in Lorville. And it's basically a bounty hunting chain of increasingly dangerous opponents, culminating in fighting off a hammerhead starship. Well, culminating probably isn't the right word, because there's one more mission after that, because apparently the bad guys make an escape and steal an Idris. The Idris being probably the second deadliest ship in the game, because it is a capital ship. The deadliest technically out there would be the javelin, but you don't see javelins very often. I've only seen them during the Invictus Flight Week. Alright. We're going to go to Orbital Marker 3, and from there I should be able to get to Everest.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
There we go. Orbital Marker 1. Hold on, I'm skimming off the atmosphere too.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
And finally, Everest Harbor. And if I'm really lucky, I will actually end up at Everest Harbor.
Quantum drive.
I think I'm pretty safe there because usually the weird stuff happens if you try to go to Everest Harbor from one of the other moons. If you try to go there from the orbital markers, you will usually land where you expect to land, which is to say, right out here. Now I do still have 49% of my quantum fuel, so if I were feeling particularly interesting, I could go back to Crusader with this. But I would much rather take care of all the refueling and rearming here. I'm going to make sure that I'm not pointed right at this station here, because if I should lose concentration and not hail them in time and get the things go wrong with my approach, at least this way I will miss the station and not crash into it. I have
Please
crashed
proceed
into
to
it.
assigned landing bay.
And that's all I'm going to say about that, because, you know, things that embarrassing really don't need repeated. Unless it makes a funny story, of
Landing
course.
gear deployed.
Then I'll repeat it all I like, because, hey, I'm using stories. Alright, I perceive that I'm on the wrong side.
I have been authorized to scan.
Oh good, Hurston Security.
Please halt your vehicle and stand by.
That's the downside of coming to Everest Harbor. Occasionally, there's ships will be around to scan you to make sure you're not hauling contraband. Bloody weasels. Yeah, get it over with.
Okay, thanks. You're clear to proceed.
You're too kind. Clear to proceed. Luckily, we are on the Aurora MR challenge, which means I am not suitably motivated to start screaming in a fit of rage and shooting every security starship I see. I have done that. Auto land is not cooperating. There we are.
Automated.
Now, the reason I like to do the auto land usually is because it will usually put me on the landing pad, however precisely it needs to be
Complete.
to activate landing
Landing
services.
complete. Have a pleasant stay.
And here we are. There's my repair, there's my restock. I'll hit both refueling just because I can. You'll know you're refueling because on the right hand side of the HUD, you're seeing the quantum fuel go up, and then you'll see the hydrogen fuel go up. Restocking, harder to tell until you go into the weapons menu. On the left MFD, you will eventually see the Aurora flash a little bit. Like that. And that tells me that I am repaired. I am repaired. I am rearmed. It's now time to look over contracts. Now here you'll see that everything here is group bounty warrants. And we're going to grab the medium one. And right here you can already see that it's 26,000. So that actually is better than 7,000 per kill. And it's also North Rock, which means I will be paid extra because I am a senior security agent. So, we go to the map. So, we try to go to the map. Here we go. Here's a tip. If you try to go to your Moby Glass and it puts itself away right away, try holding the key down until it stays open. You'll notice that while I have 3 targets, I only have 2 beacons. It's not true. There are 3 beacons. But 2 of them are stacked upon oh, actually, no, they're not, actually. They're in 2 different spots. Sometimes they do stack on each other, however, and that makes things, for lack of a better phrase, a little too interesting.
Takeoff complete.
So, we're grabbing the mediums because we know that the Aurora can handle a medium threat in a fairly rapid period of time. At least we did with that encounter at Crusader.
Thank you. And please visit again.
Quantum drive is now on. Landing gear raised.
Sometimes I really need to remember the raising of the landing gear. The computer luckily remembers these details and does that when you go into quantum, but it still feels embarrassing. It might become more important when control surfaces are a thing for atmospheric flight. In space, it's no big deal.
Quantum drive is now on. Quantum drive is now off.
Now, much like the bounties that we fought in Crusader, it is again a hurry up and wait situation. It is what it is, right? But hopefully the wait will not be too long. Now the downside is this is where we'll be fighting with asteroids. We don't have very many friendly space stations where bounties will show up nearby with turrets attached. So we really can't expect to... Oh, that's interesting. What am I seeing over here? It's not my shadow, is it? It looks like there's a shadow of something here. Oh, maybe it is me. Oh, can't concentrate on that. Bad guys are around. Let's go see who we have to blow up. Sensors on the Aurora could really use some work. I mean, here I am at 5 kilometers away, and I still have no idea who I'm going after here. And he's targeted me, and I still can't target him. There we are. F7 Hornet. These guys are potentially dangerous. But then again, everybody is potentially dangerous. The goal here is to take him out rapidly and get out quickly. While the... Oh man, I thought he was blown up. I must have exploded something important like a wing or something. Now that, on the other hand, was blowing him up. I'm going to target this beacon quickly and get out because I will not be paid for ads until I am done with the bounty mission. So killing these guys, whenever they show up, it will not... It doesn't pay, let's put it that way. And to be honest, since we're looking at the whole idea of cash per kill, that we want to get as much money as possible in as short a period of time as possible, odds are I'm just going to ignore those ads because at the best, I'm only going to get 1,500 for each of them. And that's the best case scenario. I could very easily wind up dealing with 500 for each of them. Compared to the money I'm getting for taking out the primary targets, yeah, I think I'll go with the primary targets and leave the ads alone if I can. Luckily, usually the ads are not more dangerous than the primaries. Usually. That's not always the case, though, so don't take anything like that as a given. I'm going to cut myself down to no speed right now because flying around being clever. Oops. Just as I say that, the target becomes available.
Radar contact.
Oh, early. That's a bad sign because he's probably... Oh, he's a Buccaneer. Buccaneers are pretty top-loaded ships. It'll be a good fight. But I do have to, you know, try to avoid being hit by the guy. Because Buccaneers will pack a punch. Oh, and he's using scatterguns too. That's not good. I mentioned earlier on the stream that scatterguns are slightly bugged at the moment and are deadlier than intended, perhaps. And man, they are proving it today. Come on, blow up, blow up. Oh, he didn't blow up. Last acquisition. Oh, there we are.
Enemy down.
Oh, good news, he's down. Bad news is his friends are showing up. Let's hope I get spooled up before they start shooting me.
Bottom drive is now on.
Excellent. Which leaves us with a single target. Now you'll notice one other detail about these group bounties. There is a timer. So I have to wipe out all three of these guys within 45 minutes.
Is now off.
Luckily, today is proving to be a pretty good day on that respect. Now I need to get myself back to a slightly wider view here because he's on the other side of the moon. So I've used maybe almost 10 minutes getting this far.
Bottom drive.
Starting at Everest and getting to here.
Drive is now off.
So even if I think the worst case scenario of 15 minutes, it's not horrible. Especially seeing that we're in the Aurora.
Bottom drive is now off. Bottom drive is now off.
And we're going to take a second here and see where things stand. Waiting for you know what to cause who knows what kind of trouble. $36 So 9 minutes have been spent dealing with my previous targets. And incidentally, like I said, this is a North Rock bounty. I will get bonuses because I've been good at this sort of thing. When you do this, you will start out with no bonuses, but as you continue, you'll get them. You will get them. Now, what I'm thinking what we might try doing next week is we might rent an arrow, because arrows, while they are light fighters, they carry significantly better weaponry than the Aurora. And that means the potential for those higher risk bounties and the significant payouts associated with them, it becomes a lot more attractive. Okay, target direction is located, even though I can't actually target him yet. So it's probably not a Buccaneer. Got me targeted already. There we are, Saber. Well, that explains a lot. Sabers are stealthy starships. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in an earlier bounty. However, there wasn't really a whole lot to him, was there? And here we go, objective complete. I'm gonna get out of this area so I don't have to worry about, you know, oops, well, there they are. Well, you know what? They're after me, fine. I'll be after them. Let's get a bit of extra cash off of these guys. It doesn't help my time to kill kind of thing. They don't pay as well. But you know, they annoy me. And it didn't take long to take him out, did it? Other guy is in a Gladius, light fighter. They're toughies, but well, their strength is in their maneuverability. If I were feeling really entertaining, I would consider trying to break off and hitting them with a missile. Honestly, the Hornet was easier to take out. Alright. That takes care of those ads. So we got 26k plus bonuses. You may have noticed a couple of them showing up when we took out the last kill. I got 800 before it started doing the regular payment. That's not a bad payday. And it took us about, what, 15 minutes? So, 25,000 every 15 minutes. Figure 4 of those, you're making 100k an hour. On medium threat bounties. 100k an hour. Yeah, it's kind of breathtaking, isn't it? 100k an hour, if you have the stuff there, that will get you money. Now, we have some other missions available to us at the moment. Oh, we do have another medium assignment. I didn't see that one. So we'll hit that one again, grab another set. Ah! There we go. And, oh, conveniently, they are practically right here. Which will really do nicely for the, you know, time remaining stuff. 45 minutes. Let's see if we can get ourselves another 25,000-ish. Oh, turn off the engines. Last thing I want to do is accidentally run into debris or smack into the really big asteroid there. It pays to pay attention. So let's do some elementary math here, shall we? If you can pull off making 100,000 an hour, then after 10 hours, you will have 1 million. And again, that's assuming you do the medium bounties and not the higher bounties, which you probably wouldn't in the Aurora, but we might be able to pull off in the Arrow. 10 hours, 1 million credits. 20 hours, 2 million. 20 hours, you have enough credits to buy a Drake Cutlass Black. That is our state. I've been doing this for roughly 2-hour chunks. But your average player, well, not your average player. I refuse to even guess what the average player would be, but they're probably, potentially speaking, not doing just 2-hour chunks. So you could make the money you need in not a very long time at all, if you focused on the grind. I don't necessarily recommend focusing on the grind because, you want to have fun.
Radar contact.
All that said, if you like blowing up bounty starships, hey, you get your fun where you find it. There we go. For a minute there, I thought I was in range, but I wasn't. I have a pretty nice long amount of fire on him. Well, you can keep the weapons on him for an extended period of time. I was kind of hoping he'd be dead by now, though. This early, I don't want to be dealing with the ads.
Enemy down.
Okay, I got 800k there. So again, that would be the bonuses they're talking about. Ads are coming in, but I'm hoping to not be here. Okay, that could make life difficult. But I seem to be out jamming range. And jump.
Is now off. Quantum drive is now off.
Because again, it's not worth fighting the ads if you're not getting any credits for them.
Quantum drive is now off. Quantum drive is now off.
And here we are again. 5 minutes have passed. A little less than that, but I'm rounding. My personal feeling is that these group bounties are at present the most efficient way to gain your money in the Aurora. There are more efficient ways to get money. The high-risk bounties, trading when it's working, but not with the Aurora itself. But the Aurora will get you the seed money you need to do some of these other things. We were able to rent the Cutlass Black in a rock yesterday. Well, it's not yesterday, last week. Even though the Hadnite thing happened, the Great Hadnite Embargo, as legend put it. But if that had worked, that would have been 100k right there. Cargo hauling, depending on the ship, and depending on the type of cargo, that can make a respectable amount of credits. And usually safer too, unless you count server crashes. Buccaneer. Okay, these guys are playing with scatterguns today, so I want to see if I can make his life a little more miserable than he might expect. Oh, so far so good. I don't think he... Okay, now he's firing. Doesn't look like he's using scatters either. I'm a little surprised. I'd assumed that all the ships of a given type were going to be using the same weaponry for the most part, but maybe that's not the case.
Shit.
Which is good, because you wouldn't expect it to be like that. Still, he is kicking, still flying, still dangerous. And if I don't take him down soon, his friends are going to show up and make this a real fight.
Shields damaged. Enemy down.
Well, good news, bad news. Good news is I got him down. The bad news is his buddies have showed up after all. We're going to take a jump to aerial.
Bottom drive is now on.
Before they do too much damage to me. Unfortunately, my target is not aerial. He's at Magda. Eh. It is not a long trip.
Bottom drive is now off.
Now, if you're monitoring the chat in the game, you'll notice references to things not being in the shops. That's something that's been known to happen lately. It has to do with the back-end servers, I think, getting information loaded into the game server. Or at least that's the impression that I've been given. And if you're the first one to arrive there,
Drive is now on.
it's going to undergo the slow process of populating everything.
Bottom drive.
I have a lot of trouble with some of these things too. They control the trade terminals too, which is probably the reason why they're causing so much trouble with cargo hauling. Or at least they are for me.
Bottom drive is now off. Bottom drive is now off.
Alright, we are currently just past the 36 minutes remaining section. In 30 seconds, 10 minutes will have elapsed. And then we'll have another payday. Hopefully. Hopefully. It's nice that when I'm not moving, all the chunks of debris are standing still, but spinning around. You would think that sooner or later they would stop, because even though there's no friction in space, we are kind of close to a moon, and gravity would get involved. Then again, I really don't know all the science on that either. Maybe they would keep spinning. Gravitational mechanics was never my strong point. Major torque imbalance. That's something you'll see often too if you stress your engines. Or even if you're looking from cross-eyed. It's one of the little problems that occasionally pops up with the game. And nobody's willing to tell you why it happens. Oops. Target found, and uh-oh, this guy is going to be a toughie because he's in a Cutlass Black. They saved the best for last. This one will be a challenge. But I do believe it's a challenge that is doable. As long as I don't do something really horrible, like, crash into him. But we're doing pretty good. We're seeing his shields get chopped up. He's taking hits on the hull. You know what? he may even be easier to take out than a Freelancer Miss. Pay attention, Eternal Riders, who might be watching. The Freelancer will be tougher to have killed than this guy. Of course, I say that before this guy blows up. Don't count the chickens. Nope, the Freelancer Miss was tougher. Alright, we're going to bap ourselves closer to Magda, where we will hopefully be out of range of any ads showing up. And bang! 28,000. Again, I had the bonuses because of my contract status. Yeah, there's an example of what I was talking about with Eckhart. I've done the chain on him, so he'll occasionally offer missions, and they'll be bounty missions. And some of those bounty missions are pretty vicious. They'll be under the personal tab under appointment. You'll go to him at the M&V bar. You go down there, you chat with him, he'll offer you the missions in your Moby Glass. Some of them involve things like taking out groups of hammerheads. You don't want to do that if you're flying in a Aurora. Just don't. Okay, we have another fugitive recovery. Fugitive recovery is a different animal. You saw earlier that we had that suspect certification. This one allows you to go after people who have escaped prison. So, you know, they've got two sets of bounties to work with there. And you'll notice you'll even be paid. So you have a fee of 500, where you're being paid 5,000. You net 4,500, unless, you know, something gets screwed up. That's an important detail to keep in mind. Now, just for the giggles, we're going to do one last mission here, the Evict Illegal Occupants mission. It's another first-person shooter mission, and I don't think this is going to go all that well, because I am flying the Aurora, and the location of my target is likely protected. But, just in case he's not, well, I say he, but that's really an inaccurate term, because this one is going after multiple targets. Basically, it's like Station Karia. Except on the ground. And the turrets there, they don't like you at all. And they are vicious turrets. And by vicious, I mean they will blow up ships easily. Including the one I'm flying right now. But sometimes the turret does not spawn. Maybe someone took them out during their own mission somewhere along the line. I always go in with the expectation of, yeah, there are turrets there, and they're looking to blow you up. But if we can get this to work out, we'll have one more ground mission to go with, and we'll have a good chunk of money to close things up. If not, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Now, if I'm lucky, and it looks like I am, we're on the light side of the planet, the daylight side. That makes life a lot easier trying to navigate. Trying to fight these guys in the dark, trying to deal with the turrets, rough. Especially if you can't see where the ground is. The altimeter there, it's something that's best treated as a friendly suggestion more than a given value of, okay, 0 is ground. No. Even in real life, 0 is not ground. That would be sea level. And there are plenty of areas that are above that. Most areas, if you want to get technical. And if you're in a heavily geologically abusive area, like Hurston seems to be, with lots of ridges and mountains, yeah, don't take the altimeter as gospel. That's all I'm saying. Now, if we're really lucky, we'll be able to get to HDSF Hendrix, and there will be no turrets on the ground. In that particular case, it will be very simple for us to go in and start the ground mission. Not that the ground mission is simple, I mean, it's as dangerous as Karia was. But it is a doable mission. Now, if they do have active turrets, there are a couple ways of dealing with the situation. Potentially speaking. And yes, I think I can see. If you look over there, you might have noticed it looks like there's a ridge up there around where they're at. That, depending on how far away it is, that could be good. Because you can land behind the ridge, and the turrets won't be able to blow up your ship. That's the best case scenario. Of course, the worst case scenario is that the ridge is further away than you want to think about, and it is a very long run. Okay, I was afraid of that. They are active. Still, if I can get myself behind this ridge low enough, then I'm only going to have to cover 1.5 kilometers. If I can do that, let's break the landing gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
And if it's not too rocky, let's make sure they can't hit me. Okay, that's promising. So we're going to set down here.
Landing complete.
I'll turn off the engines, but I'm going to leave the
Engines
shields
are
up.
off.
Leave the power on. And we are going to take the 1.5 kilometer run. Okay, closer to 1.25 kilometer. And hopefully it'll be mostly horizontal, meaning I won't have to do a lot of up and down and up and down. Hurston is a gravity normal world, or at least it's close enough that it doesn't really matter. You know what, actually I can probably look that up on here. We have 0.82 atmospheres of pressure, so, you know, it's comfortable enough that I can take off the helmet. Doesn't indicate anything about the gravity here, I guess. Composition, it's breathable atmosphere. I really thought this would tell me how much gravity was on the planet. Maybe they haven't worked out things like high gravity world in the game yet. Considering that there's only one star system here yet so far, that's feasible. So we are going to run fast as we can. And you can see it in the distance from here. And we have chosen literally the best possible spot to land. Well, maybe. The return trip here might be a little challenging because it does look like we've got some fairly steep hills, but it looks like we've got enough of these towers they've got going here. They regularly do passes on planets, and they, Okay, I perceive a slight obstacle as far as return. That's okay. There's every chance I'll end up dead anyway and won't have to worry about the trip back. 800 meters and closing. And the vast majority of this is indeed horizontal. Not a lot of ups and downs. It's all straight ahead. Now, in circumstances that are outside of the challenge, I like to bring a ship that's capable of holding a vehicle, a ground vehicle, so I can land a distance away and then drive there. A lot faster, and often they have their own weapons, so I can blow up the turrets, which doesn't really serve any real purpose, honestly. Unless the vehicle you're driving has a medical bay, where you can respawn. Then it becomes worth it. Because then you'll respawn to bed and take the ship over. But for the challenge, if I die, I'll respawn at Everest Harbor, and, well, that'll be that. But we're going to try to take out all the bad guys. And they're only a third of a kilometer away. And from the looks of it, I'm coming in through the back way, because, well, maybe not. I might be coming from the side. No, I think it's the back way. Usually you see that long structure in the front direct center here. One that's kind of angled. The tower kind of looking thing. That's usually the back end. So logically, if that is the back end, the other end would be the front end. I know I'm a genius, right? Nevertheless, I am correct. Don't remember. Okay. All the bunkers tend to have the same general layout. You have your entry. You have your elevator. The good news is they're usually not waiting at the frontier. And why would they? Especially since, you know, there's been no sound of explosions anywhere nearby. I'm going to... wrong button. I'm going to equip my sniper rifle. Because, again, my philosophy, especially if I'm doing this solo, is the more I kill silently before they have a chance to act, is the better odds I have of surviving the entire scenario. Unfortunately, it seems that none of the targets are up front. That is rude. Now, incidentally, they did do something involving zeroing the range on the sniper rifle. I've got a minute. Let's find out. Controls, key bindings, advanced, on foot. Scroll it down. Weapon zeroing, page up, page down. Okay. And I would do this here, so page up. Oh yeah. It does have the ability to automatically set the range. No, maybe not. Okay. No biggie. I'll set my laser pointer on, just in case I run into one of those situations where I have to shoot up close and personal quickly. I am bothered by the fact that I don't see anybody at all. Oh, hold on. I see a head. Damn, that's not good. He was supposed to be dead. Okay, good. Still, though, that may have spook them a bit, they may actually start being actively looking for me now. It bothers me that there aren't very many right up here. I was really counting on them. Got a guy on this direction. Don't see him. Oh, trouble, trouble, trouble. The more I kill without causing a general alert, the better my odds are. Cut the tension with a knife. Still don't see anybody over here. Okay, I didn't really expect to see anybody down back here, but I was kind of... Oh, no, I wasn't really hoping, because if I had, that would have been difficult. Well, the bad news is I don't see anybody. The good news is they don't see me either. Let's see if I can get a shot at this guy. The more I can take out in stealth, the better my odds are. I use far too many shots on that, but when you don't have a headshot, you want to do what you can and make sure that when they go down, they stay down. The last thing we need is for them to start kicking off submachine gun fire. Because when that happens, it gets ugly fast. Oh, hi there. Yeah. Oh, he's got a friend. Two left. And one of them, who has completely missed the fact that I'm here, one left. Okay, time to swap to spray and pray. At this point, it's going to be along the lines of find a guy, spray him down, watch him die. I am fully loaded on this clip, so... That said, there is no point in not being cautious. Where are you, number 8? No, I think that guy's dead. Now, in some places, this would be where you would hack a crime stat. It's not going to happen here, but it's worth pointing out that if this were that kind of bunker, that's where it would be. Not a last guy is always a challenge, because you don't know where he is, he's still more than capable of doing you in. Where is our last... Ah, there we are. And that is it. Now, I do want to point out one more interesting detail, that you may find yourself in a situation where you may be out of ammo. These guys do drop their guns. You can pick them up. You can use them. The capability is there. They have a various grouping of weaponry, most of which are not the weapons I'm using at the moment. But we got our pay. We got the money. And now, to borrow a phrase, we take the money and run. And once we're at the ground floor, we can officially say that this mission is concluded. And it's still daylight outside. Now, let's see. Where did I leave my ship? Oh, right over here. This is one of those turrets. And they're still, hopefully, futilely trying to destroy my ship. But, little known fact, heavy weapons fire isn't going to penetrate hundreds of feet of rock. And here's the other turret that was beating me up. Okay, so let's take a look at our closing funds, shall we? We have 3,652,982 credits to work with. That is a respectable number, isn't it? Let's play math. 3, 6, 5, 2, 9, 8, 2. And we have earned, are you ready? We have earned 126,000 credits today. Let me double check my numbers now. 3, 6, 5, 2, 9, 8, 2. So what that means is our profit has jumped from 10,492 to, drumroll please, 136,577 UEC. And you know what? I really don't think we need the decimal point on there. There we go. So how's that? Not only did we make back the profit lost from last week's experience, which dropped us from 50K down to 10K, we've gotten 136K to date. 125 of which was effectively today's work. 125. And we weren't really trying. Again, this was a 2-hour thing. We could have gotten more if we had started the group bounties and just hammered at it. But that kind of money is certainly enough money that can be used to, I don't know, rent an Arrow or perhaps even more impressive starships. And we'll get into that next week. We are past the 3:00 p.m. Eastern hour, so this will be the concluding statements of this stream. I will be streaming Star Citizen again next week, continuing the Aurora MR challenge, where we will possibly go up against those higher risk bounties in starships that can, just maybe, take out the opponent a little bit faster. It will begin next Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern, approximately. I also do Wednesday night streams for Star Trek Online. That starts at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to roughly 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I would like to thank everyone for watching, whether they are watching it live or if they are watching it at some later date. I can't rule that out. I hope you will join me again next time. Thanks for watching. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.